What's going on, you guys? It's your girl Candace from Swipes and Giggles, here to give you the 401 online dating a little bit more. I don't know what is going on, why I can't say Swipes and Giggles anymore, but you know it's me, your girl Candy, and I'm here with Insecure Season 4, Episode 5 recap. Now, let me fix y'all up a little bit here, because, honey, when I get to rolling, it's going to get going. Now, I know that I probably confused you guys last week because I said Episode 5 when it was actually Episode 4, and I truly do apologize about that, but it was Episode 4. This is Episode 5. Once again, I did not take the moment to look up what the episode name was called, but that's perfectly fine. It is what it is. I'm going to just get straight into this because I'm going to be going on live with my really good friend Jamila. And we're going to be discussing this episode because I am hot. If you cannot tell, I am pissed. I am mad. And if you watch the episode, you completely understand. So this will be actually my shortest recap that you will ever see because I believe Issa and the writers wanted it to be filled with a little bit of fluff so we can get to the hardcore impact of the episode. This episode, I believe, also it has been the shortest episode. Well, I think their episodes are usually 30 minutes. But to me, this episode just seemed like nothing really happened. Like, we seen what happened, but it was a lot of just like different camera movements. First of all, excuse me? What? If Maze featuring Frankie Beverly don't calm down, listen, I don't know. My computer just randomly turned on. So let's just get into it because I'm fired up. Okay, so we start the episode off with it's 3 o'clock in the morning. So I'm going to guess that this is right after Molly and Issa hung up the phone, ending episode 4 of last week. So they probably talked at like maybe 10, 11 o'clock, or maybe 1 a.m., who knows. But Issa then went to go to sleep or try to go to sleep. It's 3 a.m. And she's not able to go to sleep. She goes on Instagram and she's just scrolling, looking at all the different, Instagram posts that are hashtagging the block party, and she sees that Nathan tags Issa in a picture and says, block party can't wait for tomorrow, or I believe it's like maybe the next day or 2 days from there. She sees Nathan's online, so she messages him like, hey, what are you doing up? He's like, I can't sleep. She goes, me too. So they decide, like, let's talk. She calls him. And they're talking on the phone, and this is the first time that they've spoken on the phone really since his lame ass of an explanation of why he ghosted her from season 3. And well, last season. He makes a joke saying like, well, I gave you the idea for the block party because if you guys remember, while they were at Coachella before they went on the Ferris wheel and did what they did, or therefore after, he was telling Issa, you should do something. You should do something bigger than what you want to do. And she was talking about like, oh, I could see the block party now. This would be over here. This would be over there. So they basically really were talking with each other and, giving each other feedback back and forth, tic-tacking ideas off of each other. She's talking to him and he's like, well, I have the the house to myself. As we know, Nathan and Andrew were best friends, and that's the reason why Molly's dating Andrew, because Issa met Nathan. So in all honesty, Molly should be glad that Nathan and Issa met because she's able to meet somebody who actually functionally wants to stay with her behind in a relationship. As you can see, I'm still a little upset, so let me just keep going before I rash Molly. So she said, Andrew's over your girl's house. And then so Issa responds, I don't really know if that's my girl per se. And Nathan's like, why? What's up? Like, you guys are close. Like, what happened? Issa then goes to basically tell him, like, I don't know. It just seems like we're just not communicating too well. It's a problem. It's an issue. And I was just asking her for help on something, and she just couldn't complete the task. And that's where the first clip of the first episode of this season comes into play, when she says, I honestly just don't F with Molly anymore. And for good reasons, Issa, good reasons. Once again, I'm just going to keep my calm. We skip to a pointless behind scene where Molly's like, I don't want to go. She didn't come to my dinner. I ordered a seafood thing for 4 and it was only 3 people. Blase, blase, blah. They ended up going. We see Issa at the block party. She's walking through. She's looking at all the different vendors. What I really do love and appreciate is that the cameras did a selective spot on local vendors. And they did like nice little screenshots, even there at the end, right before Molly and Issa get into a fight. If you didn't watch the episode, that's what happens. But right before Molly and Issa get into a fight, there was a nice zoom in on the person's shirt who was handing someone food out of a food truck. So I like that they spotlighted a lot of different vendors or food trucks or whatever at the block party, because it actually is set in Inglewood. So it gives it like, actual home feel stuff and not just fillers and fake companies and stuff. Issa sees Condola. Okay. Condola, as we all know, provided the interns for the block party a lot of information, a lot of the sponsors for the block party. Condola helped Issa out a lot. She was basically her business partner in building this. And the last time that we seen Condola, it was episode 3, where Condola and Lawrence was in Condola's house, and they basically were at a standstill of if Issa didn't cheat on Lawrence, would they had even broken up. Issa sees Condola and she's like, hey, bitch, where you been? Like, what's up? And Condola's like, well, I'm just waiting for a certain vendor, and then once they're here, I'll leave. Like, girl, why are you acting so funny and fake? Like, we were all cool talking about how Lawrence be eating fries with mayonnaise, and now you acting all stank. Like, what's up? So I'm speaking for the real Issa. I'm speaking for the real Issa. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how Issa would have did it. On Awkward Black Girl, Issa would have been like, bitch, yeah, what? You know what I'm saying? Excuse my bonnet. I have a towel underneath here because I just washed my hair. So Issa asked, like, did I do something wrong? Was there an issue? I thought we were fine. And then Condola goes, oh, Lawrence didn't tell you? And Issa's like, tell you me what? Like, what happened? She's like, oh, me and Lawrence broke up. She goes, I didn't know that. That's crazy. I'm so sorry. I didn't know y'all broke up. But Condola, honestly and truthfully, that is not Issa's place to know that. And because you were taking a jab at Lawrence and Issa's relationship when you were so confident that there was nothing happening, you were so confident in you and Issa's relationship while in a relationship with her ex, don't take a jab saying like, oh, Lawrence didn't tell you, like as if like Lawrence is supposed to come to Issa with every single little thing. I do think that Lawrence was going to tell Issa when they were at Tiffany and Derek's house, but because Issa had got that phone call about the headliner dropping out of the party, then it was interrupted. But still, it's not none of her business to be knowing that any which way. And if that was the case that y'all broke up, why didn't you come and tell me? If I was your friend, granted, I was Lawrence's ex before I was your friend. But if I was your friend before knowing that you and Lawrence dated, you should have came and told me and talked to me about it. Don't be getting all wishy-washy and fake with me now just because you and Lawrence didn't work out. Like, if you weren't feeling some type of way towards me when y'all was dating and you was sleeping and sucking and ducking all on that man after I was already sucking and ducking on that man, don't now be all weird with me when y'all break up. Like, don't do that, especially when we're doing business together. You're supposed to be a little bit more professional than that. Checkmate on that. Anyway, we then see that Anime, is it Enemy, and is it Enemy or Anime? I can't remember how to pronounce his name, but he's a bad thing, fine as hell, think it's oh my god. That's my baby, Caroline. Yeah, I love that song. He has like 3 other songs, but that's like the main one that I found him off of. You guys might have found him off of other songs, but that's the main one I found him off of. Apparently, Kelly used to sleep with him back in the day, and it wasn't like the actual character Anime, like he was acting as a person, obviously. And Kelly said that she was Britain, and so she had to put on, a British accent. What was that? Was that a South African Caribbean one? I have to start off with saying like, hello, no. hello, or bloody hell. Oh, she had to put on a British accent to talk to him because if not, then it wouldn't sound real and authentic. So, and later on in the episode, we see Amal, Issa's brother, come up to her and try to make fun of her accent and make it seem like she's not from Britain. And then they ask him about the US government, and he says there's two governments, the presidential and the Bank of America. Stupid. Anyways, so, Issa asks Issa sees Derek and Tiffany after they take a photo shoot with Kelly, and she's like, hey, did Lawrence tell you guys, or did Condola tell you guys that they broke up? And Tiffany's like, no, Condola didn't tell me anything. Lawrence says no, and I'm actually offended because Lawrence usually tells me too much. So does that mean Lawrence wanted to get that information out there to the people, or did that mean Lawrence really wanted to see what could happen between him and Issa, or talk about him and Issa, and him and Condola separately than from everybody else? So that's another thing that we have to pick up on. Amal and Kelly, I don't know where this beef came from. You know, Amal gives everybody a kiss and a hug, and Kelly's like, Amal, he goes, I see you. And I'm just like, what's the beef? What's the beef on the grill, as Mr. Borman from my 7th grade used to say. I believe that Tiffany is, I'm running through this because literally, guys, all this is like makes nothing. I'm just recapping all of it. To be honest with you. I believe Tiffany's suffering from postpartum depression. Postpartum depression is, after a female, obviously partum, gives birth to a child, and she isn't, quote unquote, necessarily taking on the role of motherhood the way you're supposed to. So any other mother, within the first couple of weeks of the baby's being born, and the baby seems like it was born before Christmas, and because the block party was in January, and so this is after New Year's, obviously. So it's only been maybe 4 weeks, so the baby might be 3 weeks going on to a month old. And it seems like Tiffany just can't wait to get away from the baby. She's so excited to get away from the baby. She goes, oh, I get to drink. And she's like, so Kelly asks her, aren't you pumping? Aren't you breastfeeding? And she goes, that baby didn't latch on. Not my problem. Pump and dump. And usually a mother tries to latch on, especially when the baby's only 3 going on 4 weeks old. Like, I don't think that's enough trial and error, but that's just me. I ain't got a chick or child, but hey, that's just me. I'm a fake OBGYN, by the way. And then she's talking about, like, it just feels so good to get away from the baby. Oh, it just feels so nice to be free. And then she made a note of like, oh, it feels good to put the baby away somewhere safe or something like that. And then she says, maybe I should leave her at the supermarket or something like that. And everybody just kind of goes, okay, that's Tiffany saying some weird Tiffany stuff. And then later on, she had said something else that was a little weird. And I forgot who asked her if she was okay. She's just like, yeah, I'm straight. I'm good. Later on in the episode, we see that Derek got a phone call from somebody who was watching the baby. I can't remember. And saying that, like, the baby was just crying entirely too much. So he said, okay, we'll be on our way. He tells Tiffany, Tiffany's like, can you just go? Like, I want to be here and I want to have fun. And he's like, okay, I guess I'll go pick up the baby. Do you want me to take the car or leave it? And she's like, no, take the car. I'll just ride with Kelly. And she goes back to dancing and having fun. Her and Amal share a moment. And he's like, oh, you want to stay? She goes, yes, I want to have fun. And she's like, we need to get you some D or some P. What are you into? He's like, player's choice. I'm like, okay, Amal, you on both of the teams. Okay. And maybe he's just a pansexual, asexual, bisexual, whatever comes my way, sexual person, we don't know. But I think that Tiffany really is suffering from postpartum depression, and maybe we'll get into that later in the next episode, because they just talked about how traumatic it was for her after the birth, because she had a blood clot. So maybe now she's like, my life almost ended and I had a baby and I don't think I've enjoyed my life the way I should have, but we'll venture and see what happens more with that. And then Andrew and Molly come to the block party. Molly sees Issa. Issa sees Molly. It's just like, what's up? That's it. Andrew then gives Molly some insight that, Molly, look at all the stuff that Issa has put together. She has, like, first of all, she had all local artists and performing. And then she had this dude named Vince. I don't know who he is. And he's like, look at the vendors, look at all this. Maybe you guys' relationship was being a little strained just because she had so much stress and she was dealing with a lot. First of all, Molly shouldn't have been like, oh yeah, like I get it now. Chick. You should have knew that from jump. You knew that Molly was putting on this showcase all by herself. She didn't get help with this until Condola came along, and that was like after Issa initiated it. And Condola was the only said person helping her with this. I mean, I think Kelly might have helped her a little bit here and there. I'm not too sure about Tiffany, but to my knowledge, Molly, you didn't give any guidance. You didn't give any rule bricks or anything to help Issa with this project. She did everything by herself. She quit her job. She moved into a apartment complex to be a super because she was homeless and needed a place to stay. Like, she went through so much stuff, and then she's had to put on this whole entire event. And the time that she needed you, the time that she desperately needed you, because she's like, I have nowhere else to run to, you decide to diss her. And it took your man to tell you, hey, she has a lot going on. Maybe that's the problem. Are you serious, Molly? Girl, get out my face. No, that was, I ain't even gonna fall for it. I ain't gonna fall for it. Nisa and Nate see each other, and he's like, look what you've done. I'm so proud of you. Like, we were at Coachella and you was putting this all together in your head, and look at it. It's came out and it's came together. Now, the reason why so this was the running problem for like the first 20 minutes, or 15 to 20 minutes of the show, is that they were talking about how many, Caucasian people there were at the, event, instead of it being a lot of Black people, when Issa made the event for Black people. Okay. And the reason why she did it is because the part of Inglewood that she's in is being gentrified. So there's no, old sub shops, A1 stores. There's just nothing classically Black owned anymore in that area. So that's the way she made it. And then people were just and she just kept focusing on where's my Black people? Where's my Black people? Where's my Black people? First of all, Issa, you know that Black people love to come late. Especially when they have their favorite artists to see, they're going to come late. That's like when you have a lineup of people. They don't want to come see the people they don't know the words to. They want to come to the part where they know the person, they know the words, and all that other stuff. That's just like when I went to go see Mary J. Blige. LaToya Luckett was headlining her. I love me some LaToya Luckett, but all she had is, I'm stuck in between the two. And sis, we heard the song before when it was made originally. You know what I'm saying? And you just twisted the words. It's just like nobody was there. As soon as it got time for Mary J. Blige, everyone was just like, real love. Oh, yes. There's something embrace. You know what I'm saying? But Black people ended up coming because, Black people love being late. It's true. And then we see that Issa is waiting against the wall for something. Molly comes and gives her some extra wings that she had. First of all, you sat there and denied me any help on my event. And you're going to come here with your dusty, crusty, already been touched on wings that you already ate all over because you figured I haven't ate, and because your man told you that I've been stressed this whole time. Now you want to see how I'm doing? Now you want to see how the event's going? Bump you, sis. I ain't even want your food, no way. And Molly was about to eat that wing. I was like, don't you dare eat that wing. You let her know what she did. Anyway, so she went backstage because Vince had showed up, this the headliner of the show, and, she talked to them or whatever may have you. And then she saw Baby Voice Zero. I do not know his real character's name on Insecure. All I know is Baby Voice Zero because of Awkward Black Girl. Because his name was Baby Voice Zero because he always was like, I just think that the company should do a lot more things in printing and that's all how he talks. Now he's Blood Gang Daryl in this show. Like, all he does is say B words. Like, he was like Bobby with two different spellings, all that other stupid stuff. Which I appreciate her bringing him back to show the reference from the first season, bringing him into like this season. Issa's really good on keeping people in the seasons together, which I really love and appreciate. The Wobble comes on, one of the Black people's national dance anthems. If it's not Just Like Candy and it's not the Electric Slide, it is now the Wobble or the Cupid Shuffle. But this time we chose the wobble, okay? So everybody's dancing to the wobble. You know, it brings the black people and we all unite together. And that's what happened. Issa and Molly share a cute little moment together of, you know, the blackness and the unity that come together. And then that's pretty much it. Issa gets brought on stage. She introduces Vince. He performs. Closing my book. Because here is the part, and this is going to take 5 minutes. Just watch. Once everything's over, Nate is talking to Molly, and she's like, you know, thank you so much for making me realize that I was in the wrong with Issa, blah, blah, blah. Homeboy, what's his name? Rel comes out. Is it Rel? Was that Rel? And he gained weight? Because that looked like Rel, but Rel had lost weight. Did Rel gain weight again? Anyways. So, Rel tells Nate, thank you so much for the hookup, whatever. I mean, Rel tells Andrew, thank you for the hookup. Molly's like, what's the hookup? Andrew's like, oh, Nate talked to me about Issa's issue, so I just emailed Live Nation, the problem was solved. Now, if we all remember how the episode last week ended, Molly said, Issa, I do not want to be involved with asking my man in my relationship for a favor for you. Okay. And so Molly's like, what do you mean you did something? He's like, Nate asked me. I went ahead. I forwarded an email and that was pretty much it. So problem solved. Molly, instead of being an adult and talking to Issa afterwards, she goes to approach Issa. Now, mind you, the event is not officially over. People are still, people are cleaning up a little bit. They're grabbing food, the last suppers off of food trucks. They're just kind of like kicking back and chilling right now, right? Molly walks up to Issa and she's like, did you go behind my back and talk to Nathan to talk to Andrew after I clearly told you not to? And Issa said, yeah, I talked to Nathan. I vented to him about what was happening. And he said, okay, I'll help you. And that was it. And she's like, but why would you do that after I just asked you not to do that? She goes, sis, you wasn't involved. You said you didn't want to be involved. Therefore, I talked to Nathan. Nathan asked Andrew. That's what happened. And Molly's like, see, you're so selfish. You're so selfish. You don't care nothing about me. You don't care nothing about how I feel. She's like, bitch. Are you serious? She goes, you knew how important this event was. True. You knew I was doing this by myself. True. And you couldn't do the smallest little favor for me and just ask to help me out this one time. And she goes, you always asking for help. You always asking for help. You never want to admit that you don't need help, blah, 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 blah. She goes, and that's why your life is messy. She goes, my life is messy? She goes, do you know how messed up you are? She goes, at least I take responsibilities for what I do. I'm mature about what I do, aka talking about Condola and Lauren. She goes, you're mad at me about a choice that had nothing to do with you, but yet you're going to get mad at me for it. And then Molly hits her back with she's like, you're so selfish. I should have just dropped your selfish line back in the day. And Issa's like, sis, you might want to drop up off me because I'm going to drop kick you. And then somebody yelled, she's reaching for a gun. And then everybody scattered out and it was crazy. Andrew walked Molly to her car. Kelly followed along. And then Tiffany followed Nate and Issa out to the other parking lot to talk about it. Honestly, the way I'm going to end this off is Molly was absolutely wrong. Completely. Issa said during their fight, are you really doing this at my event? This is my event. This is the one thing I have holding. She told her, you've watched me struggle. When I had a job that I wasn't getting paid enough for, when I left said job, when I was broke and living on somebody else's couch, basically, and then putting this event together with no income, you've watched me struggle, and you're going to do this at my event right now? That's what you're going to do? And so, Molly's like, I don't care. I'm going to step to you. This is how I'm going to wrap it up because it pisses me off. Because I have 1 to 2, 3 people who I have had and currently have in my life that are like this. You see the amount of work and effort that a person puts into something. And for you to so selfishly take it upon yourself to ruin said event, to ruin said plan, and to not even help in any form at all, but you're going to get mad that I'm giving praises to people who are helping me out. That doesn't make any sense. You're supposed to be my best friend. You're supposed to be who I am with you. Me and you are supposed to be one. But no, you decided that today was the day that you was going to have your time. Well, guess what? I got the time too, baby girl. What's up? And what I don't like that's following into the next episode is it's making it seem like everything's on Issa. Everybody's calling Issa, hey, how you doing? Just want to see how you were, blah, blah, blah. Kelly calling Issa, talking about like, have you called Molly? Like, no, Molly is in the wrong. Molly approached Issa at the wrong time. Molly made it seem like as if no one can talk to Andrew about nothing. Like nothing at all. It had nothing to do with you. Andrew was doing Nate a problem, but was doing Nathan a favor, first of all, because maybe Nathan and Andrew had a secret conversation, like, maybe this could get me back into Issa's good gracious. If you could do this, I would be so happy for you to do it. Okay, you don't know what the secret conversation was behind the bars. And it wasn't Issa asking Andrew. You acted like Issa emailed Andrew behind your back. It wasn't that. She talked to Nathan. Nathan then talked to Andrew. Like, what is the problem, Molly? You know, I'm honestly happy that Molly has been left alone. Because then we see that Issa voluntarily goes to a paint and sip solo dolo and starts making new friends. And I'm happy for her because she deserves that. Because Molly shouldn't exist in no one's life. No one should sit there and make you feel bad for you being you and you being true to you and you working hard for what you're doing. And because they're not a part of it, because you've moved on and know how to grow graciously. The first episode, Issa said, this is about a new chapter in my life. I'm being positive. I'm not letting anything hold me back. I'm not going to have that negativity in my life. As soon as Molly finds out that Condola and Lawrence are dating, you bring negativity in Issa's life over and over and over and over again through the whole season. I'm sorry, maybe I'm taking this a little personal, but I'm tired of people making it seem like they have a right to make your life a living hell just because they just got to being good. So because they just got to being good, now it seems like anything that you do is bad on a whole platter. And Issa said it best. At least I know if anything doesn't work out between you and Andrew, it has nothing to do with me. And that's what it is. But thank you guys so much for watching my recap of season 4, episode 5 of Insecure. And our next episode, like I said, we see that Kelly calls Molly about Issa. Issa's getting all these phone calls from everybody else. And so we're just seeing how that relationship and how the blowout is going to happen. It's really embarrassing because, you know, they had an event in Inglewood, and we all know that there's certain parts of California that don't get the greatest rep in the world. And for the party to end with people suspecting that there was a gun, that's all that's going to be written in any news outlet, any social media. Someone pulled the gun. There was a gun at the party. There was a gun at the party. And that's all it's going to be at the face of the news because Molly wanted to act stupid. But until next time, guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. And let me know what you think about this episode. Until next time, it was nice swiping with you.